About a week ago. Okay.
Hi guys!
Welcome back to our channel. It's Leanne.
And it's Princess.
And this week we're going to be talking about, does God really hear us when we pray to Him?
And we're going to give you specific examples of times that God came through for us specifically. And we hope it encourages you that you can just keep trusting God for whatever it is that you're trusting Him for, that He does hear and He does answer. So in 1 John 5 verses 14 to 15 it says, "And this is the confidence we have towards Him, that if we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. And if we know that He hears us in whatever we ask, we know that we have the requests that we have asked of Him." So this scripture is basically saying that we should have confidence in God when we pray to Him, that if He does hear us when we call out to Him, then of course He's going to answer us. I'm just going to begin with an example of something quite interesting that happened to me a couple of months ago. So this was in the middle of a trigonometry test, and it was a test that I had studied for so long. I was so nervous about it. I was just anxious because I think it was getting towards the end of the year and I just really needed to have good results and stuff like that. So it was in the middle of this test. I was like, okay, this test is not going too badly, it's alright. And then the last question came just like that, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm going to fail. This last question was ridiculous. It was so long, and it was worth a lot of marks. And I just remember praying. I was just like, God, I seriously have no idea what to do. I don't know where to even begin. And I looked around, everyone knew what they were doing, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm going to fail. And I was like, God, please just give me the answer. Like, I need the answer right now. And I remember that the teacher was like, okay guys, you have like 1 minute till the end of class, you have to hand in your test. And I was shaking, I was like, oh my goodness. And then all of a sudden, like, an answer popped into my head, and it was 3 pi over 4. And this is trig, so some of you might not get it, but some of you might. And the answer was 3 pi over 4, and I was like laughing to myself even as I wrote it down. I was like, how can I just put down an answer and not know how that answer was to come about? I just wrote down 3 pi over 4. And I gave my test in, and I remember talking with my friend after, and she was like, did you get that last question? And I was like cringing. I was like, I didn't know what to do, but I put down 3 pi over 4. And she was like, oh my goodness, that was the answer I got too. And then when my test came back, even though it was not the best test, I got that answer right. And I think that what God was trying to tell me was that He was with me in that situation. And He heard me in my time of need when I prayed to Him and I was desperate, and I was like, God, I need you right now. And He literally heard me from heaven and He gave me the answer. So yeah, that's all. That was my testimony.
An example of God answering my prayer, my personal prayer, was about a week ago. I was doing my road test, my final road test. This would determine whether I would be able to drive, whether I'll get my license to drive on the road alone. And before I did my road test, my driving instructor picked me up, and he always made me nervous because he was always shouting at me. Like apparently I always made mistakes, but that made me even more nervous. And when he picked me up, I drove around for about an hour and a half, and the whole time was him yelling at me and shouting at me and saying what I was doing wrong. And he was this little guy, and he's a little Filipino guy, and he'd be like, no Leanne, you'll fail for that one. No Leanne, why Leanne? And he made me so nervous. And so I was just freaking out. Anyway, but finally he just gave up, and he was like, okay, you can go do your test now. I'm like, he can't do anything to help me. I'm just this failure or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, so I went in to get my paper, came back into the car, the driving instructor got in the car, and the whole time she just seemed really like she was in a rush or something to get the road test done and move on with her life. And so I was just like, okay. I was really nervous. I started driving, and she just asked me to do a couple of like the parallel parking. She asked me to do a 3-point turn, and she literally skipped like three other driving techniques, like the reverse parking and other things like that. So usually a road test is supposed to take about 20 minutes. Mine took 7 minutes. And that's because God knew how nervous I was. I prayed and prayed the night before. I knew going to the test, I had absolute confidence in me failing. I thought I was going to fail, but God heard my prayer when I prayed the night before, and He listened to me, and instead of my test taking 20 minutes, it took 7 minutes, and I passed. So yeah, that's another example of God answering prayers. This is basically it. It's just a bit of an encouragement to you listening out there that God is a prayer answering God. God does listen when you talk to him, and he has your cares and your needs in mind. And
his word says that he holds you in the palm of his hands. That means you're so important to him, and that what worries you worries God. And he is able to come down to real life situations. He's not just this big God that is in the sky that just can kill you in an instant. Like, he actually cares and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like that. He can come down to real life situations. Many people think that God is just fictional, up in the air. He's only good for miracles and different. No, he's good for different things, real life situations, little things like driving, little things like your exams or your tests at school. So yeah, just know that and pray in confidence. And yeah, that is it for this week.
Yeah, so
thank you so much for watching.
We hope that encouraged you in some way to just keep trusting in God.
And we will see you next week.
Like, subscribe, share.
And we will see you next week. Bye!
It wasn't focused.